I'm so excited. We get to close this broadcast and open this new year with a conversation with Reverend Jesse Jackson. You've already heard dialogue about the Emancipation Proclamation, why it was so important. Reverend, we've just left, I think, perhaps the worst year, the most challenging year.
The New Year's being the New Deal. But last year's unfinished business report, it was Effect 21 in a big way. Trump sought to disrupt the electoral process by arguing the election was rigged. If he wins, we beat them, he would argue. He lost, then he kicked into gear, this rigged election, as he called it. Number two, he then began to call upon judges to take the election electorally. Thirdly, he tried to disrupt it through voter suppression. We outvoted that. Since he's lost the judicial part of it, he's now trying to make it more difficult for Biden to manage the government. We have unfinished business from 2020. Pandemic is raging. Hospitals overwhelmed. People are dying in warlike numbers every day. 1619, the race issue. He's fanning those flames. That's becoming worse, even violent. His idea that Trump would call those armed vigilantes to Washington with their guns, meaning that somebody's going to get hurt. The unfinished business of COVID-19, unemployment. When restaurants are closed, cooks are waiting to lose their jobs too. And there's no addressing of that. And there's been some feeble attempt, $600 to $2,000 at the last minute.
You're talking about the stimulus?
Yeah.
Stimulate, yeah.
But as opposed to focusing on the stimulus issue, still trying to cut schemes to maintain that fact his business, he won the election.
So he's focused on schemes over stimulating the economy and stimulating the average American.
Well, so for focusing on the election that he lost, my concern is that what we must do now, number one, Biden needs to put a Kerner Commission.
Why the Kerner Commission in 2020?
It may have been the best study done on race relations in the country last century. Where are we? A real scholarly report on the state of things. Secondly, we need to revive the Civil Rights Commission. That commission, headed by Ted Ellsberg one time and by Dr. Mary Berry, has subpoena power. It can go to Louisville where Breonna Taylor was killed. It can go to Minnesota where George Floyd was killed. Do real hearings in independent agencies of the government. I would think the last thing is that I'm concerned that the rise of violence by white vigilantes. Trump has glorified those who have open carry, Texas and Oklahoma and Michigan. They walked down the street with AK-47s. Kid in Wisconsin, Rittenhouse, I think his name was, ran down the street with AK-47 and killed 2 people.
And told the police he came to save them.
Tried to make him a hero.
A hero.
So that's someone's coming next year.
What are you going to do as a civil rights, human rights leader? What are your plans, your vision really for 2020?
Maintain our political sensitivity. You see us running greater numbers. Be slave states, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, those states are coming into their own. If we continue that trend, we're going to begin to win more statewide offices across the South. The South is the key to a new America. And when the ex-slave states rise up, it's going to be a great thing. Second, there's not enough folks in the private sector.
So you said there were 4 movements that we have to be concerned about, and you talked about.
First, in slavery, 246 years.
Right.
In Jim Crow, another 100 years, 5,000 blacks were lynched. Right to vote. Beyond that, access to capital.
So that's what you're going to focus on.
Engine technology, yeah, because you can be out of slavery, out of segregation, solve the let you have access to capital. You need huge swaths of land in urban America where there's no investment. If we even pay money in the pension funds, then they say we're credit on the world, invest on the world, they say we don't invest where we live with our own pension funds.
All of us that work have some sort of pension investment, we still can't borrow money.
Well, and then they will not invest where we live. We need to figure out how the green line, red line in America. I'm convinced we need a development bank. Jeanette, it's not enough to try to hem up big banks on CDCs. Community development, they resist it. Their purpose is to make money. That's all right, but the development bank's purpose is to develop undeveloped areas. We always talk about the Marshall. The Marshall Plan it's not so much the amount of money, maybe $15 billion involved, but the 50-year loans, 2% government secured. They're meant to develop. We need to have a development plan. That's why we ran on the bottom of all these indicators of capital for investment for development. So I see this year has been a big year for us because defeating Trump, putting in Biden, gives us a running chance.
As we close this broadcast, you're going to be sharing with us each broadcast throughout the year. Why do people need to join PUSH today? Why do they need to become active members?
voter registration work in voter suppression. It's a constant, you know.
Well, thank you, Reverend Jackson, and you keep hope alive.
Thank you, Jeanette. My favorite lawyer.
This is my favorite civil rights day. We're winning every day. Join PUSH today.
RainbowPUSH.org. Hit membership. Invest in us. Help push for you. Help run PUSH. God bless you. Keep them alive. Love you guys.